In the shadow of dense forests, under the gloomy sky, stretched a small town, abandoned by time and forgotten by the world. This corner of land was enveloped in a strange sense of mystery, as if it were cut off from the outside world and immersed in eternal darkness. All the residents knew each other, and their lives flowed calmly and steadily, until he appeared, the Labyrinth. When the huge figure of a supermarket loomed on the horizon, the townspeople felt a strange surge of interest. The Labyrinth was an unusual building. Its walls, as if concealing dreadful secrets for years, protruded in monstrous contours, forming a network of corridors and halls, as if some architect played with geometry on the brink of a nightmare. Picturesque displays arranged in front of the entrance sparkled with bright colors and reflected slightly distorted images of passing citizens. The name, the Labyrinth, sounded strangely and eerily enticing. The first days were full of excitement and bewilderment. People entered the Labyrinth with fear and curiosity, trying to unravel its mystery. But soon strange things began to happen. One by one, the town's residents began to disappear. Initially, it seemed like a coincidence, but with each disappearance, it became more and more evident that the Labyrinth was connected to it. The townspeople who ventured inside the store found themselves in the midst of sinister, nightmarish mazes. The walls and ceilings seemed to come alive, shifting and changing shape, creating the illusion of a constantly changing world. The way out seemed unreachable, as if the Labyrinth wanted to confuse its victims and not let them go back. Each step into this dark network was a step into the unknown, a step into darkness and despair. Local news started filling with horrifying accounts of the nightmares experienced by those trapped in the Labyrinth. Descriptions from returnees shocked even the most resilient. They spoke of creatures lurking in the shadows, voices whispering incomprehensible words, distorted reflections haunting them through empty corridors. Rumors about the Labyrinth began to spread to neighboring towns, but no one could believe such a dreadful story. Only one hero, young and determined, dared to test fate and unravel the mystery of this nightmarish place. His name was Michael. Michael was a natural explorer, always ready for new challenges. He believed that the Labyrinth was just rumors and myths, and he ventured into its depths to prove to the world that it was nothing more than a myth. His first steps into the supermarket were confident, but soon he realized he had entered a nightmare, a true nightmare. The walls began to move, as if coming to life, and the Labyrinth's inner world began to engulf his mind. He couldn't orient himself, couldn't find an exit. Time flowed in distorted ways, robbing him of a sense of reality. Fear seeped through his skin, making its way into his soul. Voices started whispering incomprehensible phrases to him, as if trying to influence his mind. Days blended into nights, and nights into days. Michael battled his fears, trying to find some logic in this endless loop. He found records left behind by previous visitors, their notebooks forgotten on the Labyrinth floor. Terrifying words, scribbled by trembling hands, told of losing their minds, of getting lost in this nightmare. With each passing day, Michael felt his consciousness starting to dissolve, becoming part of the Labyrinth. The voices grew louder, the images more real, and he himself became nothing more than a small speck in an endless sea of nightmares. Terrifying dreams haunted him, where he wandered the Labyrinth, unable to find an exit until his soul became. The secret of the Labyrinth eluded Michael like dust carried by the wind. He exhausted all his strength trying to solve the riddle, but the Labyrinth was stronger. His mind began to disintegrate, like a puzzle, and each piece disappeared into the Labyrinth's dark corners. One day, when Michael had almost given up hope, he heard a faint whisper. The voice was invisible, like a ghost, but its words were clear. There is a way out, but you must confront your fear. It was Michael's last chance, and he gathered all the remnants of his will and determination to face his demons. He started battling his fear, reliving it again and again. Step by step, he delved into the darkest corners of his soul, revealing his deep-seated fears and pains. With each victory over his fear, the Labyrinth began to change. The walls became less terrifying, the movements more predictable. Michael kept fighting, for he realized that the secret of the Labyrinth lay within himself, in his ability to confront his fears. And in one moment, when he had nearly lost hope, an exit began to appear before him. Light pierced through the darkness, as if breaking through layers of nightmares. With each step, he drew closer to the light, leaving behind the Labyrinth that once seemed endless. When Michael emerged from the labyrinth, he found himself on the town's streets. He looked back at the ominous structure, realizing that he was one of the few who managed to escape. His eyes reflected the thousands of nightmares he had endured, but inside him, hope ignited. An evening breeze swept through the deserted streets of the town, as if carrying the history of those who had escaped the nightmare of the labyrinth. Through the thick darkness, lights from windows started to shine, but the houses remained empty. The town remained with its secret, known only to Michael, the secret of the desolate passage leading into the depths of the human soul, into the world of nightmares and fears. How long the secret of the labyrinth would remain hidden is unknown, but Michael was left with the sole evidence that those who can conquer their inner demons can solve the darkest mysteries, even if behind them stands the very desolate passage.